And something that everyone has on their kitchen counter, a loaf of bread, is exactly 4 inches wide. So imagine doing front flips and back flips on a 16-foot long loaf of bread. The soccer goal is 8 yards wide and it's 8 feet tall. But thanks to Erica Owens, for 8 Cougar opponents, that has not been big enough. The Cougars did have 2 100-yard rushers. None of them know was Jamal Williams. I asked Coach Kelly after the game what they were able to do to stop number 21. The King, BYU's leading scorer, and my personal favorite, yours truly. But fast forward just 12 months and they find themselves playing tonight for a national championship. One important question is, what do the fans think about it? Let's head into BYU's campus to find the answer. You could sit here behind me for $150, or you could hang out here on the infield for the day for $40. Kate Hansen told reporters last night that she could feel the support of 32,000 students here at BYU. Nearly half of his kills last weekend came from the back row. This is how he does it. You see a perfect pass here, puts all sorts of pressure on these USC blockers because BYU's offense has all sorts of options. After seeing every BYU player in the past 25 years, how good is Tyler Haws?
I think he's up there with Jimmer.
Football fans in Provo know all about the Cougars' stellar defense, but the other football team on BYU's campus is also shutting down opponents' offenses. The BYU women's soccer team has won 4 straight games and has not allowed a single goal during that streak.
We are doing better than I thought we would. I didn't think that we would be getting shutouts like we are.
Senior goalkeeper Erica Owens turned the shutout streak into a West Coast Conference Player of the Week award.
It's a big honor, obviously, to be listed as one of the few players that the West Coast Conference recognizes.
It's an honor well-deserved for Owens. She has a way of frustrating opponents with her incredible saves. The soccer goal is 8 yards wide and it's 8 feet tall. But thanks to Erica Owens, for 8 Cougar opponents, that has not been big enough. Owens leads the WCC with those 8 shutouts. She's also the leader in fewest goals allowed.
If I do make a mistake, she'll be there to pick up my mistake and save us.
Those saves by Owens may potentially carry BYU on another deep run come playoff time.
I don't think another run in the NCAA is potential. I think it is going to happen.
Erica, this reporter stands corrected. From BYU's campus, Dave Neeley, CougTube. Thanks, guys. I got to head up to Salt Lake City on Tuesday night to catch up with the punky QB. Of course, college football fans here in Utah know all about the electrifying offenses he led right here in Provo, but now his legacy will also live on here in the Beehive State as a Hall of Famer.
Jim McMahon, who broke all sorts of passing records, but he's a very confident young man.
That confidence turned a skinny kid from Roy High School into an All-American at BYU, and then into one of the most popular athletes in the National Football League. The guy that BYU fans remember for leading the Cougs to victory in the Miracle Bowl.
Who has the ball? Touchdown!
Is now a Hall of Famer.
Number 9, forever. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim McMahon.
McMahon joins former QB great Gifford Nielsen in the Hall. The two played together at BYU, but did not fight for the starting job.
He was our punter. We just needed to keep the ball out of his hands and just score, and that's what we tried to do.
McMahon eventually got his turn behind center and made the most of it.
We were very successful, and I was part of the first 2 bowl wins at BYU, so that's another proud memory.
Good memories, to be sure, but one may wonder, with all the places he could have gone out of high school, how did number 9 end up in Provo, Utah?
My dad wouldn't let me go to Vegas. I was on my way to Vegas, and he said no.
His dad was a very smart man. By the time he left BYU, McMahon had a Davey O'Brien trophy in one hand and 71 NCAA records in the other. Jim McMahon was a guy that liked to have fun on and off the playing field, something he's still not afraid to do. What do you think of his jacket
tonight? That jacket is totally awesome.
Joining Jimmy Mack in this year's Class of 5 is former volleyball standout Michelle Fellows-Lewis. She's the wife of BYU and Philadelphia Eagles great Chad Lewis, who was immortalized in this same Hall of Fame last year.
Something else not to be the best athlete in my own house, so she's a superstar.
Lewis led the Cougars to their first ever Final Four appearance in 1993, a memory she will always treasure.
The feeling of jubilation and excitement in that locker room afterwards was like no other, and I loved that experience.
Jim McMahon and Michelle Fellows-Lewis, Hall of Famers. Even though it was their night, McMahon and Lewis both answered questions about the current BYU squads. Jimmy Mack spoke highly about Taysom Hill, and Fellows Lewis said with confidence that she feels this year's women's volleyball team can win the national championship. From Lavelle Edwards Stadium, Dave Neeley, CougTube. Imagine you're a 6th grader, and when you show up to school one morning, you find out that instead of doing math and science, you'll be playing football with Jamal Williams and Taysom Hill. That's exactly what happened for more than 1,000 6th graders yesterday at the annual BYU Sports Hero Day.
BYU. Hill. There he goes. Touchdown.
Do it in.
Godfrey back set to Gray. That's your winner. Williams. How about a touchdown run?
Why is it called Sports Hero Day?
Some research that we did a few years ago determined 6th graders have heroes, and that's kind of their hero stage and where they really look up to people. And we kind of took that idea and went, oh, well, a lot of kids look up to sports heroes.
1,200 of those 6th graders got to meet some of those heroes, bringing smiles to their faces.
How many guys like to dance?
And thanks to J Swag Daddy, maybe even a few new dance moves. But it's not just the kids that appreciated the experience.
This just helps me more to be a good person and to stay on the right path.
More than 100 BYU athletes from 11 different teams passed, putted, and served with the kids, showing that their reach goes far beyond the playing field.
It's a big deal to us as athletes to get to interact with them, and it means a lot to us to see how we can influence them in their lives.
Their messages were simple.
You don't need to be a sports hero. You can be a hero just in everyday life and being a good person and a good character.
You just need to be you. You need to become the best you that you possibly can.
We're creating memories and experiences for these kids that they normally wouldn't be able to have.
One of those memories being in a real-life BYU football huddle. On the BYU campus, Dave Neeley, CougTube.